on how to search online for a job in the legal sector. So just first and foremost, just a couple of things to cover off. We are going to be recording the session today, so please do just pop in the chat if there's any problems with that at all. It's just so that obviously we can share a copy with you if you request it, or with other people as well who couldn't attend today. And also it should take probably about 25 minutes, so hopefully we should be finished by about 12:30, if not just slightly afterward. In terms of the session, how it will run, I will be sharing some slides with you, but there aren't loads of slides. And also I will be doing some live demos of some kind of job sites as well. So please don't worry about kind of making loads of copious notes. You will get a copy of the slides, which has got loads of links in there after the session as well. And there are some tools that I'll be able to share with you afterwards by email. So don't worry too much about making lots of notes. And if you've got questions as well throughout the session, that's absolutely fine. There's only a couple of you kind of on the call, so feel free just to drop them into the chat. And Emma should be able to pick up some of those as we go through, if not myself. And also you can unmute your mic if you wish as well, with there just been a couple of you, and just feel free to interrupt and ask those questions if you have them as I'm going through stuff. It's absolutely fine just to shout out, but there will also be time at the end as well. We normally have about 5 minutes at the end just for you to ask anything about the information that you've seen today. Okay, so just wanted to introduce myself now as well. So my name's Kate Stafford and I work in the careers team. But prior to joining the careers team, I worked in recruitment for many years, 16 years in recruitment, and I've recruited across lots and lots of different sectors. So some of the things I'm going to share with you today are actually some of the techniques and tools that we used to use for finding candidates for jobs and vacancies, but you can actually use them as well to search online for roles. So hopefully you'll find some of those things quite useful, fingers crossed. We've also got Emma Bonatti on the call as well, who's a careers advisor that supports law. So if there's anything particular, especially at the end as well, Emma might be able to answer some of those questions that you've got as well. With there just been a couple of you on the session, you know, it's a really good opportunity to ask anything careers related as we move through. Okay, so I'm just now going to start and share my screen. If you can bear with me 1 second. There we go. So there we are. So hopefully you should be able to see now the start of a PowerPoint presentation. So today we're going to focus on searching online for a job within the legal sector. Okay. There we go. So I'm just going to run through really quickly what you should know after this session and what hopefully you can take away with you. So first thing would just be briefly, we're going to talk about what you should do to set yourself up for success when you're starting that job search, and how to make sure that, you know, you've got everything absolutely prepared. Where to search online, really importantly. And on the slides, as we go through them on the final slide, I will be showing you some of the sites, but also there's loads of links as well, some really, really good job sites that you can take a look at, and also how to search effectively. So what I want you to do as well is kind of very much, you know, smart searching. So not spend hours and hours and days, you know, trawling through job boards. So everything that I show you will be kind of trying to save you time, automate processes as much as you can, and try and just get you doing as few searches on as few websites in effective a way as possible, because I know it can be really, really time consuming. I also wanted to share with you as well what we won't be covering today, because obviously when you're searching for a role, there are lots of different things that you need to do to land that role. So there are things like up on here now, so we've got networking and social media and LinkedIn, creating a CV, of course, and assessment and interview practice. So all really, really critical stuff. But if you want to find out more about them, there's lots of ways you can do that. You can go onto the EHU Careers pages. There's links in the slides here for you, which I'll share. But you can have a look at some of the previous content that's out there. And I know that under Help by Subject, there's some really good kind of links through to particular websites for legal sector careers. You can have a look at some upcoming events as well, see if any of those are covering these off, and have a look at any previous sessions, or you can book an appointment with Emma, one of the careers advisors, just to kind of talk through, you know, any specific questions or guidance that you might need. So all that is there for you. Right, okay, so setting up for success. So first and foremost, it's just about being really organised. I think when you're starting off on your job search, the last thing that you want to do is kind of then see a great job and then be kind of scoping around and trying to get everything together. So really make sure you've got your CV absolutely ready to go. If you are in a situation where you might be considering a few different career options, you may need a few different CVs as well, because you want to pull out kind of key information relevant to the roles that you're applying for. And the other thing I would recommend is, and you'll see why I say this later on, is that make sure that your CV and your LinkedIn profile are kind of search optimized as well. Because if you're on LinkedIn or you've registered your CV on one of the larger job boards, you can be searchable obviously by recruiters. So if there's a particular role that you're looking for or a particular area of law, you need to make sure that that's kind of in your opening gambit and your opening blurb in your CV or your LinkedIn profile, because recruiters will search using keywords and terms and will search for job titles, or may search for graduate or stuff like that. So make sure that everything's in there to make you as searchable as possible. Also make sure you've got your references to hand, so you know what your references are going to be. And as I say, get your LinkedIn profile kind of really up to speed, and we can help with that if you do need that support. Get a daily job search routine up and running as well. So, and by that I don't mean kind of sitting 9 to 5 staring at a screen, because I think, you know, that is really, really tough on you, your eyes and your well-being and everything else. So, but think about, you know, perhaps focusing a few hours, some of that being on online job search. Then you could maybe do another kind of couple of hours doing a whole networking piece, and maybe doing some of the stuff on LinkedIn or social media. And then you might want kind of another couple of hours perhaps then looking at maybe mapping out and researching organisations that you want to work for, or maybe doing some online learning. So actually it can be really varied. There are lots of things that you can do from terms of job search. And if you kind of cover off all those angles, you know, you're going to have a really good robust job search strategy in place. But please do find time not to think about it. I think, you know, when you're in that position, it can feel quite stressful, quite overwhelming. You know, take control of it, get planned and organised, but also spend time away from the screen and get outside if you can and socialise, and make sure that you look after yourself so that, you know, when you do get that interview, you know, you're feeling in a really good place and you're all prepared. And one of the first tools I'm actually just going to share with you, I'm just going to show this to you now. So you should be seeing like an Excel spreadsheet here. Is a job search or job application tracker, which you will get a copy of this after the session, and you can use it as you wish. It's completely editable. You don't have to have the columns as I've set them here. But you'll see there's 4 tabs at the bottom. So we've got job applications, networking, contacts, interviews, and career websites. So job applications, when you're applying for lots of roles, it can be quite confusing and you can forget what's where, which job board, what you've applied for. So this is just somewhere for you to keep a record of all of this. So the job title, the company, have you downloaded and saved a copy of the job description or person spec? Because when that advert closes, that can disappear and you may not get access to it again. So just a bit of advice to kind of download and save that. The contact name, where you saw the role, and kind of just where you're up to. And you can see then any comments, do you need to follow anything up? Networking contacts, we've got very similarly here. So who's the person, what company did they work for, when did you contact them, how, who recommended or referred them to you, and where are you up to? And then you've got one for your interviews and career websites as well, so that you can have a little look and, you know, maybe keep a track of which websites are really, really working for you, so that again you're focusing your time in the best place possible. So you will get a copy of that shared with you after the session. Okay. And then where to search online. So I'm not going to talk you through all of these, but this is just an overview, and there are so many kind of sources of roles. These are just a few that are open to you. And as I say, we've got links to some of our recommended ones on the final slide. But obviously you've got larger job boards and aggregators, which I would say are really, really good if you want to kind of search in one place and it pulls lots and lots of roles from lots and lots of different websites together. Particularly the aggregators do that well. So aggregators are websites like Indeed and Google Jobs. They just pull across loads of areas. You can also as well, usually on the larger job boards like Reed and Total Jobs, you can usually upload a CV and register it there so that you're searchable for recruiters to find you, set up job alerts. So they're really good for kind of a big generic job search. We've got our vacancy portal as well, which I will show you because I've got just some tips and techniques on there that you might just want to take away to, again, make things easier for you. We've got sector or industry specific job boards, so I'll be showing you one of those today. But again, there's links to quite a few on the last slide as well. You've got organisation websites and social media accounts. And I would say with these kind of roles is if you're doing some mapping and you're looking at the organisations you want to work with, particularly where you've got smaller or more independent, medium-sized organisations, they probably won't have, or maybe don't want to be kind of out pumping loads of money into recruitment and spending, thousands on LinkedIn advertising or job board advertising. So if there's a smaller organisation you want to work within, definitely follow their website, follow them on social media, because that's probably where they're going to be advertising their positions. Graduate job boards, again, great. Really targeted to graduates, as it says. You can filter by, down to law. We've got regional websites, maybe a bit less used now. LinkedIn jobs, which I'll show you if I get a chance, and Google jobs, which I will definitely show you as well, in terms of how to conduct a really simple, quick search. Okay, so searching effectively, which is what I'm going to demo to you. So I will show you the basics of job searching, which some of you may feel really comfortable with already. But again, just some tips and techniques for the websites. I'm going to show you how to automate as much as possible, because that's going to save you all your time and save you logging in every day to the same sites. But then also one of the things is taking your job search to the next level, which is using Boolean search strings. And this is how a recruiter searches for a candidate for their roles. So this will kind of show you how to do one search, hopefully, across lots of sites, or even within a website, to kind of pull together some really kind of accurate job results for you. So that's what I'll be demonstrating next. Okay, so I'm going to go into the demo now. As I say, feel free if you have any particular questions or anything like that to kind of pop them into the chat, then that's absolutely fine. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to show you the EHU vacancy portal first. You'll probably landed here and logged in here because obviously you've booked onto the event today, and from looking, I know you've been on previous sessions as well. So this is where you would land after logging in, and today what we're going to do is obviously search for opportunities. So these are job opportunities. And this is where you would kind of land on the home page. So what it will do is it will show you every kind of vacancy we've got available. And you'll see here there are 429 roles currently live, which are across all different industries and areas. So firstly, I just wanted to kind of say, I think, if you're quite clear in terms of what you want to do or what sector you want to go into, the quickest and simplest way of searching, just in case you haven't done so before, is to look at occupational areas. So again, I'm just choosing here, obviously given the subject, let's go for legal. You'll see it filters it down to 23 results. And then you might say, actually, I just want to stay within the Northwest. You can look at whatever locations here. And that takes us down to 4 current vacancies within the legal sector within the Northwest location. You can select as many of these as you wish. So if you're a little bit undecided, you can also select multiple regions as well if you're quite flexible. So, absolutely fine for you to do that as well. So you can actually search as much as you wish. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of some of these now. So we're just looking at legal, and it will filter down based on that search. What you can also do, this is quite a new addition, so bear with us. We've literally just put this live on Friday, but just so that you're aware, this is something else that's come through. You can also search by applicable degree subject. So this is just starting to be populated now. And also, is the employer open to any degree subject? So you can filter down to yes and no, and that'll start to become much more populated as more vacancies are added on. It only went live on Friday, but that might be useful to those of you that are open to quite a few areas. What you can then do is save the search. So once you're happy with your search, you can save it. But just to let you know that on mobile, this will just show as like a red star in the bottom right corner. So you won't see the save the search text, which we are hoping to kind of get changed. But that's just so that you're aware when you're doing your search on mobile, click the red star in the bottom right corner and it'll save the search for you. But one of the must-dos, I would say, if you haven't already, is if you go into your profile, which is up here under me, and click on profile, this is where you'll set up your job alerts and event alerts as well, but obviously particularly job alerts. So if you look in your email preferences and go to edit, and it only takes a second to do this, This has got your personal profile information in and your email address here. So you can obviously default that to a different email address if you prefer. You can ask, it asks obviously, would you like us to contact you? Yes. And you want to say, actually, how often would you like to hear about new events and employer opportunities, which are job vacancies? So you might want to say weekly about events, but I want to hear about new opportunities that match my search criteria daily. You can then refine what you want to search for. So you might want to look at just graduate positions. You can also, if you're undecided on which occupational areas, which many people are, you can leave that ticked and you'll get kind of through quite a broad range of opportunities coming through to you. If you know what you're looking for, you can deselect that and you can pick your occupational areas in here, okay? So you can pick legal. But if you thought, actually, I'm open to legal, but maybe also digital marketing, just picking something random, you can select again as many as you wish. You can also select if you have a different language that you want to, make people aware that you can speak, and you can save. And then all of that's automated for you. You can sit back and relax and they'll just get pinged through to you either daily or weekly, dependent on your preferences. Okay, so that is the Edge Hill vacancy portal that I wanted to show you. I'm just going to show you as well, and I'm going to take you into an industry specific website. Now, again, we've got probably about, I think, 6 links to share with you on the final slide, which you'll get after the session. So you can pick the ones that you like, but I quite like this website actually. I think it's got quite a lot of good filters on it. You can set up job alerts as well, which you can see here. And you can again pick daily, weekly. So it's quite a good website to search. So you can do this in different ways. You can do it by keyword. So if you knew there was a particular keyword or part of law that you want to search within, then absolutely you can give that a go. You can filter by practice area, PQE, location, of course, which we always like to look at, recruiter type, position, sector. You can see them all there, and even job title. Now, one of the things I did have a little look at on here before is I went into, I think it was position, let me remind myself. When you go into position, you can see they've actually got trainee and graduate here. So that, again, given your situation, might be something that you want to look at, because it actually filters straight down to roles that have been identified as suitable for trainees or graduates. There are 9 roles there, and obviously we haven't filtered by location yet, so this is just 9. It's saying across the UK. However, and this is a bit of a top tip you might want to make a note of, if I just get rid of that little filter there and go back to where we were. One of the things I'm going to show you with the Boolean searching is how to use and or commands, and I'm just going to show you a little bit of that here as an example. Because if you put into a keyword search here, trainee or graduate, okay, what it's going to do is it's going to search for those keywords, not just within the job title, but also within the body of the advert as well, because sometimes they won't say graduate in the job title, but in the body of the advert they might say suitable for a graduate. Now, if I do that and just click search, you'll see it actually gives us 92 jobs opposed to the 9 it filtered by. That is simply because the recruiters that are placing the adverts on the job boards haven't necessarily ticked that box when they've placed the advert. So what I would say is sometimes when you're going onto a job board, specifically like one in the legal sector, maybe just put trainee or graduate, because that's their terms that are often used. And then you can kind of then narrow down. So if we then thought actually let's have a look at the northwest of England, we can see then there are 18 positions that are saying trainee or graduate, and it'll be, so there it doesn't have it in the job title, but somewhere within the text it may say suitable for a graduate. So you can have a little look through there, and it'll just perhaps open up a few more opportunities as a little bit of a tip. But here's a good one, as I say, because you can do job alerts, you can upload your CV as well if you register. So again, it means that if you want to and you give permission, you will be searchable to recruiters who, as you can see, recruiters can have an account and they can search for you as well. So I would definitely recommend doing that on at least one of the key job boards, within the industry that you're looking for. Okay. So I'm going to bring to life a little bit more now the Boolean searching for you. And to do that, I'm just going to hop over to, and don't worry, we're not going to look at chef jobs. This is just Google Jobs. So I'm just on a really generic page here within Google Jobs. Now, Google Jobs is an aggregator. So this is a bit like Indeed, where actually it pulls from lots of different websites into one page. But what it's really, really good for is running those Boolean searches, because you can search for lots of job titles in one place. So again, it's often a good like first port of call if you just want to see what's out there and kind of see some of the job titles that are coming through. So I don't know, Kyle and Lauren, if you're happy to, you can either pop something in the chat or you can unmute yourselves on mic. And just if you could give me perhaps some of the job titles that you're looking for and the locations, I'm more than happy to search for those for you. Even if you've got a few different job titles, that'll be great. And I can have a little look for both of you or one of you and see how we can use the Boolean search just as a bit of an example. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. Paralegal, Liverpool. Okay, brilliant, lovely. Thanks, Lauren. So I'll start to have a look at that. And then, Kylie, if you want me to have a little look for you as well, if you're there we go. If you want to have a little, then that's great. Now, I'm just going to put paralegal in there just as one word before we go on to the Boolean, okay, just to see what comes up. Now, you'll see here I'm sharing my location. So it's defaulted to Ormskirk because I'm on campus. Always just go to location here. It always defaults to 60-mile radius. So you might want to bring that down a little bit. And I'm just going to simply put the word paralegal in there. And you can see, obviously, all the roles that will come up here. And what this is really great for, as I say, is it pulls from lots and lots of different kind of job boards here. Now, just by searching this, and you'll be more familiar with the industry than I am, Lauren, on here, but what you can see is obviously we've got family, we've got small claims, we've got lots of different terms, we've got administrator, we've got assistant. So if you wanted to kind of be really more specific, if there was a particular area of law, for example, that you wanted to specialise within, then you can put that in a Boolean search, okay? So just as an example of that, and I'm making this up a little bit just to kind of show you how a Boolean search would work. So you can just put paralegal because it's quite specific, but you could put in here using Boolean search, and I'm just going to show you here. You can use quotation marks to search for an exact phrase. So you could put paralegal assistant, or, because we can search for or different job titles, and this is how Boolean works. So you could put paralegal, we could just have that on its own, or you could put paralegal administrator, and I'm just doing this obviously for the search purposes. And you could then search, that's then searching just as an example for all those different job titles within one search. So again, you can run that and kind of see what it comes up with. Just check back on location again, because look, it changes it. So you can bring it a little bit closer to home. What you can then do is also, instead, as well as using the or for lots and lots of different job titles, you can also use the and command. Now, what I would do is if you're doing the or, just want to do this so it doesn't throw it out, pop it into brackets. You've got all your job titles there that you want to look at. So 1 or 2 or 3. And you might want to, you don't have to do this, I'm just showing you the example. You might then want to use those terms again if you wished. And again, it might not be relevant for this particular role, but you might say trainee or graduate. Now, I probably wouldn't do this for this because I think you're getting some quite good results coming up already. But say if you had too many and you really wanted to filter it down, what that search there is doing is saying, I want to search for any of those job titles, and that can be as long as you want. So if you had 5 different job titles, feel free to put, 10, whatever you want. And I want it to mention trainee or graduate. And then you've got all your lists down here. But again, maybe start really broad and then filter it down a little bit, or you could do it by, kind of area of law. In here as well, you could also search by the actual firm. So if you wanted to search by different organisations, you could search for all of these job titles, and you could say Philip James Partnership or the Employment Solicitor or AG Fox. So you can search them within lots and lots of them. So Kyle, can you also search the specific area of law? Yes, absolutely. So we could, I can show you that actually. Let me do this. I'll just use this example. I'm going to put in here, get rid of that, is I'm going to put family, okay, in there. So that's going to search for all those job titles, and it's got to have family in there, so family law. So you can see down the left, it's really kind of made it specific to that search. So for you guys, that's probably a really good way to have a little look. So pick all your job titles you think. And to be fair, with paralegal, it's quite broad anyway. So I might be tempted actually, just to literally, if that's what you were looking for, just put paralegal in there. Again, keeping it really broad and then narrowing, and family. And then you can kind of, I think that's probably a good search to start with. And location, all you would do is obviously if you're looking particularly at Liverpool, go 30 miles or whatever you're comfortable with. And then you can see all the roles down there. So hopefully that's helped a little bit. And here as well, just remember you can put on your job alerts down here. You just need a Google account. You don't need a Google email address, but you do need a Google account. And you can also save your searches, as I say, and set up your alerts up here. The other thing just to mention to you as well, because I know we talked about, I think I've got the right spacing in there, it still works anyway, is you can also use this in LinkedIn jobs, and you can use it on some of the bigger job sites as well. So I'm just going to reload this. Seems to have gone a little bit weird. Bear with me. I'm just going to reload this page for us just because it's gone a little bit odd. But just to show you, it does actually also work in LinkedIn as well. I'm on a different PC today, so it's sometimes a little bit strange when you move. Where's it going? Yeah, the field seems to be a bit off, but I'll try and get that to work in the background. Here we are. Oh, it's picked up completely different roles. But I'll try and get it to work while I'm talking here. But if you guys then have got any particular other questions, feel free. If you want me to take a little look at anything else while you're on, I absolutely will. So I'll give you a couple of minutes. Again, you can unmute yourself and mic or just pop it into the chat. That's absolutely fine. And in the meantime, I'll try and get LinkedIn to work, as it seems to be a little bit upset. But basically you can do that, and again you can switch on your job alerts up here as well. Absolutely no problem. And it's normally really reliable, apart from today. But you can have a look at that at your leisure, and you can play around with this. But yeah, feel free, any kind of final questions, that's absolutely fine. And while you're doing that as well, I'm just going to show you this final slide to keep it up there, just so that you can see these are the links that you'll get, as well as a bit of a follow-up.
Kate, LinkedIn's not working for me either. I think maybe it's just having a bad moment generally.
I've never known it before with links. No, it's so reliable.
I know. It's huge stuff, isn't it?
I know. Yeah, I thought it was me because I've moved PC. Things normally go a bit wrong, but
no, it's actually them.
Oh, yay, good. It's not me for a change. Or I don't know if Emma, if there's anything else you wanted to mention as well, or if there's anything you've thought of as we've gone through.
No, nothing specific. Just obviously if people have got questions for me, I'll be around at the end. Well, I'm around now for the next 10 minutes if you've got any questions, but if not, I think thanks for attending, and thanks very much, Kate, for putting the session together. I think it's a brilliant session.
No worries.
Use.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So if it saves you time, it's a winner, isn't it? That's what I always think.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah, so Kyle, Caroline, Lauren, if there's no further questions, please feel free to leave. We won't keep you any longer. Thanks, Caroline.
Thanks, Caroline. Lovely, thanks, Lauren. Yeah, looks like we've covered everything there then. That's great. And thank you so much for attending. Yeah, and as I say, you'll get the follow-up hopefully this afternoon, and then come back to us obviously if you need anything else. But best of luck with your job search, and I'm sure you'll be fine. You'll do well. But if you need anything, obviously you've got all the contact details. And thank you for coming along.